Hello, I'm Wayne DeBay, AIFD, and this is my wife.
And I'm Peggy DeBay, and welcome to Creations at the Flower Nook.
Welcome to Creations at the Nook. I'm the flower man, Wayne DeBay, and this time of year, the Flower Nook is full of crafts and artistic endeavors from lots of different artists and craftspeople throughout the region. So be sure to come in and check them out. For instance, we have some of these beautiful carved Santas done by a local man right here in town. Let's go check out some of the other artists we have in store.
I'm David Olson, sculptor, and I'm presently showing a sculpture at the Flower Nook. And the sculpture I'm showing this month is work that I made from paper. In a number of ways, I've always had paper around me as an artist. I went to high school here in Salina, and then undergraduate school at Bethany College, and did a Bachelor of Arts there, which there was a lot of drawing classes, but it also turned me on to sculpture and the idea of building works out of multiple materials. At that time, the thinking that I was working with was, we live in a multi-material society, why not then make artwork that's multi-material? All the while, I'm always designing things on paper, drawing on paper, making patterns on paper as to what to know how to work the steel and the wood. On to graduate school, did a Master of Arts at Eastern Illinois University, and I really pushed the sculpture making in terms of emphasizing wood constructions and metal constructions, very geometrically oriented work. And then I went to Southern Illinois University and did a Master of Fine Arts degree, and there I found myself working with wood again and steel, but I found it becoming more organic, natural forms coming into play. And then what began happening there is that I began bringing paper back into my art making process. And it was a way for me then to know how to buy the materials, because I'd make paper patterns and then place these patterns on the material I was wanting to work with. And I began just working with those paper patterns, and then just began making pieces specifically out of paper. Very much meditations. I find myself one who makes work for me to focus in on a moment where I find that what I'm doing, I ask a question in a form, and then I answer it in a form. The analogy that I sometimes think of is that I borrow from my fellow creatives who are musicians, jazz musicians, and it would be the question answer. And a phrase gets said, then there's an answer. And to me, that seems to be very, very close to what happens in my mind when I'm working on the work. I get myself into a sense of space of how I want a sense of movement, and then how to respond to that movement. And that is something that's been growing with me for a while. Good question. Initially, they were all white. And in making them white, it was looking at the interplay of shadow and forms and shapes. Well, I wanted to have that sense of texture, and that might have been because of when I was working with some of the wood pieces and metal pieces. There were times I'd do all metal pieces or all wood pieces, and it would emphasize the differences in terms of texture, which would then be because of value, shape, how light would fall, causing different senses of shadow and interplay. Same thing was happening with the white paper, in that I was wanting to sense, what the texture was, rhythm, that sense of timing that can happen when you're looking at the work. And that provided a pathway, again, for me to visualize what I was sensing and wanting to feel. Color began coming into my work first selectively, in terms of might have been a metallic that was coming in, using paper, again, a metallic paper, such as silver or gold. Then going into some opaque, shiny papers that would be black and gray. And then just this summer, emphasizing just a more spectrum of color. And it was a change. I do draw, and my drawing is often with pastels, and some oil crayons with pastels. And pastels themselves, for me, lend themselves to an aspect of color. So the sculptural, while I do it for me in terms of being in the moment, because I'm the one that has the moment, I seem to have that go out more. When I say go out more, you sometimes see that when people look at the work and they see something that responds to them, there's something that seems to spark them with their inner journey. They develop a story into it. And whatever their story is, it happened because of looking at something visual. And it doesn't have to be the same reason why it was for me. But it gave a reason for wanting to be a part of. Why do we own other people's artwork? We share in that kind of creativity by us making that choice, us making a decision, saying, I want that to be a part of this. And I can be a part of it if I have it around me. That seems to be something that then happens, because I have my artwork around me a lot.
Today at Creations at the Nook, I'm going to make a Christmas tree. Now that's kind of like only God can make a tree, but a florist can make a good attempt at it. And I've found this really fun little bowl. Have yourself a merry little Christmas, and we're going to build in there. I just wanted to show you that. Took the liberty, due to the time of it, and I have put a full piece of Oasis foam in here, and this is a full piece. I don't want it cut because I want it to be able to draw the moisture up through it. I've gone ahead and taped it in with some of the waterproof tape. You don't have to use that if you're doing this in a home environment, but where this might be delivered, I want to be sure that we're not going to have any issues. And then I've cut up lots of different evergreen. One of the things that this goes very nicely for is that if you have someone who's not putting up a traditional Christmas tree or maybe putting up an artificial tree, this is one way to add a little bit of that fresh fragrance. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to do that quarter method. I'm cleaning these stems and I'm going to try to pull what I can off the bottom and then give it a sharp cut. I want it to be able to glide in fairly well. I'm going to put it in at a little bit of an angle so that it's angling in for these first insertions. And tonight I'll be using two different types of greens. This is a noble fir, and then I will be using a Douglas fir as well. And you want these kind of equal distance around. Come in and give that a top to our tree. And you can use the lower pieces where they branch. I've just cut this off fairly tight here, and we're going to come in and put this in between. And we'll start doing that around the tree, shifting it a quarter of a turn, if you will. And I want these to be fairly deep. I want to have good deep insertions into that foam so that it will drink and it will last very well for you. Christmas season is almost over already. It's hard to believe how quickly the years come. I remember, I think I've said that before, I remember when old people used to talk about that. And now I see those years flip by very quickly, very rapidly. So I want to be roughly tree-shaped. And it is a little forgiving. It doesn't have to be an exact, not all Christmas trees are exactly shaped, are perfectly shaped, I should say. So I'm going to turn this so I can see what I'm doing on the front a moment. And anytime you work with fresh greens, you do get a wonderful fragrance, but you also get a lot of sap on your fingers. And I found that Dawn dish soap, there are probably others that work well, but I pretty well use the Dawn here in store to take that stickiness off. And this sort of tree should last a couple of weeks or longer. It has a nice reservoir to keep some water in it. So it's something that you should be able to enjoy. You could get it fairly early and enjoy it throughout the Christmas season. So you really don't have a whole lot of waste in doing this, because even the little pieces that you have, if you have a little bitty piece, you can save it and at the last minute tuck it in if you find a spot, or just push it in wherever you think it needs to be. Now I'm going to switch to the Douglas fir, and this probably is one of my favorite as far as fragrance. This is the traditional Christmas tree greens, if you will. This is what at least I grew up with as Christmas tree, was a Douglas fir. And it has a really, a little different fragrance, very nice fragrance to my nose. We're just going to come in and fill in around. Like I said, when you have this sort of piece, this still can be used. It doesn't necessarily have to be out where you'll see it, but it can be a filler in between. So not a lot of waste. Using the permanent greens and the trees and the wreaths, all those sorts of things are great, because given our climate, you never know quite what we're going to get weather-wise. And if we have a warm, dry winter, then the fresh items don't hold up as well. And so I also understand the reason for using that. But this, like I said, adds that fragrance of Christmas to anyone's home. You don't have to have it 100% covered. It's one of those things that we can kind of stop. I've got several things that we're going to add into the tree as we go. And so we can change course a little and do that. And then come back if we think we have holes that need to be filled. We can come back and fill those holes in. One of the first things I have are some little pine cones, and this is a little kit that came with this tree. It makes it just kind of fun. So try to put your pine cones in kind of with a random pattern, if that makes any sense. You've got 6 of them in this kit, so I generally use this as an all-around. I want it to be more that it can be viewed from all sides and enjoyed from all sides. We've also got some ornaments and a star. And I went ahead and glued my star on a what's called a hyacinth stake. So I'm going to turn it back around so I can kind of get my star front and center. Make it the star of the arrangement, if you will. There. And because we're going into the foam, the wire on these makes it very easy just to tuck them in, and they don't have to be deeply in, but they will certainly hold in position very well that way. The last thing I have to put on there, I have a little bit of garland. What's a tree without some sort of garland on it? And I'm just going to come and I'm going to catch it around a branch a little bit further to the back. And this is a very thin little wire, so you can just take it and as you come along, find a spot that you like and just twist it up and around one of the branches, the little fronds or bits of evergreen. This is even something that you could save year after year if you're so inclined. You could take all of the pieces apart and then create your own tree next year. It's really just like decorating a regular tree in your house, is what I've decided over the years, that, you know, it really is a matter of personal taste. You can make it as full as you want, or you can leave it a little more open and just let the natural beauty of the evergreen show through. So I think we've pretty well done it. I see a couple of holes, and that's one of those things that anytime we were going to send this out, we'd be sure that we had this filled in before it goes out. But at home, it might not be as critical to have every little spot covered. Another thing that makes a difference is the angle that you view it from. If you're looking at it from on top only, or if you're sitting beside it, then you might see more of the oasis foam showing through in the bottom. And there you are, your very own little Christmas tree. I hope you enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Mason Bettles. I play guitar and I love it. Well, when I first started playing, and it's actually before I started playing, but I had a passion, and I would always air guitar. And then I remember I got my first guitar when I was 8, and I basically took it from there. I quit a little bit and got back into it when I was in 7th grade, and pretty much grabbed it and ran. I took lessons when I first started playing, and then it got overwhelming, so I stopped. But they brought it back in middle school, and when they did that, I remember I enjoyed it, and I got guitar lessons in the summers. I teach a 4th grade male of mine. He's really good, and he's progressed so rapidly, and it's awesome to watch him play. And that's what motivates me a lot, to learn new music and basically carry that on. I would like to take this as far as I can go with it professionally, or wherever it takes me, really.
Hello, my name is Gail Johnson. I own and run Johnson Farms Country Market along with my wife. We offer a full range of canned goods, jams and jellies, along with baked goods, made-to-order pies. We have farm fresh eggs, beer rocks during the wintertime, and during the summertime we also have a wide range of fruits and vegetables that we sell also at the summertime farmers markets around the local area. That was a combination of me and my wife. We found a salsa recipe, and then I just started playing with it. My wife likes it really mild, but we wanted it a little hotter for other people, and it took us about 2 years to develop all the four types that we sell. And like you say, and we raise all the tomatoes and peppers that go in it, including the habanero and the ghost that we also make. My wife, her mom taught her how to make those. We've always made them, and probably about 4 or 5 years ago, some people asked us if they heard that we had made them before, and asked us to make them, and we started making them and bringing them to market, and they have just been a wonderful success. We sell them by basically the truckloads during the summertime. We'll sell 200-300 a week during the summer. They're just the basic beer rock, just hamburger, cabbage, onion, a little salt and pepper, and then scratch-made dough, and they're all made entirely by hand. We're at the Salina Field House on every Tuesday from 4 to 7. And we'll run until April 23rd. We have 2 other main vendors, CNC High Tunnels. They're out of Scandia, Kansas. They bring a lot of produce along with some jams and jellies and honey. We also have North End Farms. They have pasture-raised beef, chickens, and garlic. They sell a lot of garlic. And they also said that after the first of the year, they'll have summer sausage and beef sticks in that available. You know, we have the Flower Nook has been another one of our, with arts and crafts down there. We're hoping as the year goes on that we can pick up another vendor too, just to offer more variety for people. But right now we have a fairly good selection of food for people to come down and sample and try. They've gotten some money to help with advertising and that we're going to be using. We also too, through CNC High Tunnels, they can also do the SNAP EBT, so we can help, you know, low-income people can come and enjoy the stuff just like everybody. All the vendors can take the SNAP EBT coins through that. Just hopefully grow and get bigger with more vendors so we can offer more stuff to people. We just need to get the word out so people can come and enjoy the homemade baked goods and the homegrown meats and vegetables that can be provided.
Thank you for watching Creations at the Flower Nook. We hope that you'll join us again. Please stop in and check out these creations and more at the Flower Nook at 208 East Iron, downtown Salina.
See you soon.